Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello. Katie's first in today. Hi, Katie. How are you? Hi, everyone. Welcome. Oh, I have a very needy little dragon on my shoulder today. He's been a bright pain in the, so he's probably going to ruin everything today. But how are we all? Thanks for coming. I've got, hi, Joe. I've got my lovely mug from Maria and Neo again today. Yeah, I know, he's going to be a pain. He's going to rummage all over the place, I know it. Oh well, he's been very clingy. He wouldn't get off me today, so I just had to, had to live with it. Hello, what's up? What's going on? All right, well, it is what it is. He's totally going to outstage me, isn't he? Funny monkey. Oh well, anyway, that's Fraggle, if anyone hadn't seen Fraggle before. I was going to do Fraggle Fridays, but he's done Fraggle Thursdays. So, yeah. He will probably jump on the screen at some point. So, how is everyone doing today on this lovely Thursday? I'm really excited about today's talk. We have one of my favourite humans in the world, the fabulous Moira Cameron, who is coming in today. Some of you may know her. Some of you may have met her. Some of my colleagues also work with her. And she is a Yeoman Warder or a Beefeater at the Tower of London. So I hope she's in. But I'm just going to... I'll do a little bit about the Tower of London while I just wait for her to pop up. Have we got her here yet? She's not here yet, I don't think. Not yet. Lovely. Oh, well, we'll just wait. Oh, she's here. She is here now. Oh, we'll just get her straight in then. Why not? Moira Cameron, who's going to come and join in today. Fraggle's off. He doesn't care. There she is.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. So for those of you who don't know Moira, now I know a lot of my colleagues are watching today who know you well because we work together with you quite a lot, and a lot of people will have visited the Tower of London as well. Some people won't have been to the Tower of London at all, and we'll probably do another day on the Tower of London. But you are, well, one of the kind of most iconic bits about the Tower of London, aren't you? You are a Yeoman Warder. In fact, no, not just your role, but actually you as well. And Moira always gets really embarrassed when I big her up to my guest, but I think she's fabulous. So Moira is a Yeoman Warder, which some of you might know by their alternative name, which is Beefeater. But not only that, Moira is the first female Beefeater in all of history. Yay! Smashing glass ceilings.
But not the only.
Not the only one. And actually, I have to say, I did steal a little picture off your Twitter. I hope you don't mind.
Don't mind.
Where I am is Moira. That slightly ruined the whole effect, but those are the only ever two female Beefeaters in history. That's AJ, who's over that side, but Moira is kind of behind me here. Apologies for that. So Moira, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me. That's lovely.
From ridiculousness. So what? For those who don't know, what a Beefeater is and what you do, it's a very, very prestigious role, isn't it? It's something that very, very few people get to do.
It certainly is. There's a very small pool of people who are actually qualified to become a Beefeater at the Tower, and that's all former military who've done minimum 22 years, have the long service and good conduct medal, and the royal warrant, which is because I came from the army, that's all former sergeant majors, so warrant officers and above. You'll know the warrant officer because of your dad, so yeah. And you have to have done a minimum of 22 years in the military, don't you? Minimum 22, yeah.
So it's incredible. And I often tell my guests as well that there have been more Beefeaters in history than people that have gone into space. So it's
allegedly. I haven't done the counting, so I don't know.
Have you been into space? I don't know. You might have done both. That'd be awesome.
It's a good story though.
It's a good story. And you live at the Tower, don't you? Which is where you are right now.
I am. I'm sitting in my living room. I'm looking out onto the Martin Tower, which was where the tower where the crown jewels were stolen from. in
Yeah.
1671. So yeah, that's my view. And if I go out my front door and look down, then I've got the Tower Bridge. So
I mean, you couldn't be more iconic there, could you?
it's just, yeah, it's pretty. It's more than just cool.
And how long have you been a Yeoman Warder for now? About 11 years, 12
Nearly
years?
13 years.
Oh wow.
I know, it's crazy. 13 years at the beginning of July.
Has it gone fast?
In some respects, it has. You know, you sit and think about 13 years. That's more than half the time I spent in the army.
My goodness.
And so yeah, so it's really quite weird. Sorry, pre-existing.
Oh no, you haven't gone down with it, have you?
No.
Don't die on us,
No,
Moira.
that's a
Don't die on us. I
pre-existing
can't handle it. It was funny because we were chatting just the other day about the tower and about it being in lockdown, and of course you were saying that some of the Beefeaters aren't there because they were already away and they were just told to stay away. So there's like a kind of skeleton crew at the minute, isn't there?
Yeah, we're on skeleton crew. It's quite sad at the moment because all the 6 palaces that historic royal palaces look after have all closed, unfortunately. But
yeah.
you know, you have to think of the alternative, and this is the right thing to do. So yeah, we're on minimum manning here, and it's just actually the same. We're just doing the same job roughly as we would do at Christmas, which is really quite bizarre for us, because at Christmas you've got people coming in and out of the tower all the time, but
oh no,
of course nobody's allowed in. So
we lost her.
Apart from the ones that are already here. So yeah, it's a bit strange.
And one of the things you told me as well is that now it's funny because whenever I bring guests to the Tower of London, we talk about how it is such a important part of London's history, and the fact that it is it is a fortress, it was a prison, all this kind of thing, and that one of the big things we talk about is the ceremony of the keys at night. And some people I know, I've had the incredible honour to go and see it. I've taken people there, and it's still going on. We always talk to people about how it doesn't matter. This is not for tourists. This is a real historic thing that has been going for hundreds of years. And you were telling me that even now there's nobody there to see it, but it's still going on, isn't it?
It's still going on. I was actually on the night shift. I was in watch last night. The watch person is the person who looks after the tower, the inner sanctum of the tower during the silent hours. And so I was started at 4:30 yesterday afternoon and finished at 7:30 this morning. But there was nobody there, so it was really strange. And of course, there's 6 of us on the parade.
Yeah.
And we've all got to keep 2 meters apart, minimum. So it's really strange. The soldiers are all right because they're all living together anyway.
Yeah.
In the guard room. But of course, it was myself and Clive that were on last night, and Clive very kindly, first time in nearly 13 years, I actually took the lantern and the keys last night. So I wasn't the watch, I was actually they say the duty supervisor, it sounds very modern. So I say the gentleman porter. But
and you've not done that before?
I'd never done it before, and I was so chuffed. He just came in and said, since there's nobody here, let's get you, let's get you on this, because it's one of those things. There's been a couple of occasions where we've had to step in because of situations. One of the guys, the 2 of them were there ready to go out one night, and one of the guys tripped over the chair and split his head open, so he couldn't do it.
My goodness. So there's only 2 of the Beefeaters that will actually hold the lantern then, and
no, every night there's 2 Beefeaters on. So it's the gentleman porter and the watchman. That's the 2 people that look after the keys at night.
So it's not something we'll get to do then usually.
Yeah, we get the watch every once a month.
Yeah.
It's going to be different at the moment, but once a month roughly we all do a watch duty, and then the duty supervisor, that's the yeoman sergeants, the chief and the jailer, they take it in turn each night to do the gentleman porter bit, the carrying of the lantern and the keys. So I got my practice in last night, and I've got, and I can show you a little picture, not of the keys obviously, because that's never recorded. I say never recorded, but
a ceremony every single night to basically lock up the Tower of London, and it's fantastic. It's such an atmospheric thing to come and see, and you can see it completely for free, can't you? You just have to get tickets online. I mean, it books out like a year in advance, but it's worth knowing that when that comes up, you can get tickets. Get the tickets; they're free, and plan your trip to London around it. You know, you'll have a year to wait and plan, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, we've started, because there's been a lot of people booking them up. We had a lot of situations where people were booking them up and selling them to others, unfortunately. So we kind of managed to kind of get that down to a minimum.
Right.
I'm sure there's people still doing it, but never mind. And then we had the keys, we released them every 4 months, I think it was, but we've actually reduced that down again to every 3 months. So we start releasing them. So it's always good for people to get in there and keep checking if they're going to be coming to London, to watch the keys and get their tickets.
And it's such a fantastic, go on, so show us this picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, that's awesome. With the Atlanta. Are you going to put that on Twitter or something? I can put a link up.
Yeah, I'll put that, because I want to say that even with all this madness that's going on, some things remain the same. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
you have to have routine.
So how does it feel living in somewhere that is so historic? Because you actually, let me just show a little map of the tower from above so people can get an idea. This is the Tower of London, and you can kind of see, again, my big old head's in the way. Let me see if I can bring it up in a different format. No, that's no better. But sort of right here, you can see there's a bit of moat there, and there's like a sort of little, what looks like an alleyway, and that alleyway runs all
it's a little road.
And along the side. And so you live in that section, don't you?
Yeah, that actually goes all the way around. So you could drive round and round and round. And actually, that's some people are doing the running round there at the moment.
Yeah.
Trying to keep fit. But where you are, just literally at the top of that little road, that's my house at the top.
Fantastic.
So.
And what is it like living in such an amazing, historic venue such as the Tower of London? Someone asked, actually, have you ever seen a ghost or anything there? Have you ever seen?
No, I've never seen anything, and I don't really think I have that ability.
Right.
I think people have it or they don't. There's been a couple of things that have happened in the house, but nothing. I've never felt anything malevolent here. Nothing.
I know AJ's had a run-in with a ghost, didn't she?
Oh, did she ever? But she was staying, when she first arrived, she was in number 7 Tower Green, which is notoriously haunted.
Right.
Pete McGowran had something happen to him in there as well. He was in bed one night, and it was literally, the bed got lifted, and he lay there and he was going, do I open my eyes and try and see it, or do I just experience it?
Oh my God.
And I think AJ tried to get something tried to fling her out the bed. There's normally, everybody that goes in there normally has an experience.
From having a chat to AJ, she said that one of the chaps who I think was prior to her, who'd been in that room, it scared him silly and he'd left and couldn't sleep there. And I think, according to AJ, she just pulled the cover over and went back to sleep. I mean, that's classic, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's because she's a warrior.
She is. Yeah, she's fantastic. So kind of what is it like living in such a historic place? I mean, you obviously must have your favourite little bits, your favourite secrets and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. When you first get here, you're very much like a rabbit caught in the headlights type situation. You can't quite believe you're in this surreal situation. And the first few days that I was here, because I'd just come literally straight from the sergeant's mess in the military, and then I was plunged into this. Never been posted in London to begin with, so I didn't, apart from the fact that I was in London, yay! I was in the Tower of London working, I'll just put that as. And I'd gone to IKEA one day, and I thought, I'm just going to go down there, get all my furniture, and then I'll get them to deliver it. And one morning when they were delivering it, a couple of days later, I had to go and meet the vehicle at the gate. And I walked down the road, and then along, like inside the tower, but adjacent to the river. And as I turned the corner, there was nobody there, and it was really quite, oh my gosh, this is really strange. And it felt like I'd been whisked back in time, and it was a very strange feeling. And God, it was amazing. But anyway, that was that. And there's certain occasions where you come back and the light's right, and you're looking at it, and you think, "Oh my gosh, I live there. I'd live there."
That's so cool.
So, yeah, but most of the time, it's like anywhere else. You don't notice your area, I'm sure.
course.
So you don't see it anymore.
And that is part of the job, isn't it? So for a Yeoman Warder, part of the deal is you live on site with your family, with your pets, with, you know, anything like that. Someone's asked, what's your daily routine?
Daily routine at the moment or normal?
I think normally. Let's go normally. Because I know that you're going to bed at 7 a.m. and staying in your pyjamas till goodness knows when, like all of us.
I know, but this is coffee number 5 I'm on now. Yeah, so daily routine, if you're just on normal duties, you would come in, we open the tower up, so we open all the public areas up, check in the health and safety and fire regulations, make sure everything's in place, security, etc. Reporting any problems, any damage, and that's done before we open at say 9 o'clock. Yeah. Then you get a tea break, and then after your tea break you come back on, and some of my colleagues would hate me saying this, really hate me saying this, but we're overpaid security guards, underpaid tour guides.
Hey, we're all like that in a minute, Moira.
Oh, I know, bless you. I feel, my heart goes out to you. It really does. I'm glad I'm still working. I'm very fortunate. So that's what we do. But we're the guardians of the tower. That's our description. That's what we describe ourselves as. So we're the guardians of the tower, and we look after the tower on behalf of the monarch and the United Kingdom, to make sure that the stories are kept, same as you're one of the guardians of the stories of the tower. Make sure the community, regard the community, and our daily prisoners, which are the visitors, the
tourists. Although you do allow them out on occasion, don't you?
Yeah, well, yes.
And if you have a special visitor as well, then you have now, do you know what? It's funny because we had a chat this morning, just to kind of, talk over what we were doing, and I got into trouble with Moira because I used the wrong word. I always tell my guests, this is a uniform. And what did I say to you this morning?
My outfit.
Yeah. And she just, honestly, actually I'm going to change it around so you can see the whole figure there. Honestly, the minute I said it, I was like, oh, I'm never going to be allowed back in. It is a uniform. It is a uniform. And this is what you will wear if it's a particularly special day. So you might have a royal visitor, or it's anniversary, kind of like Coronation Day or something.
Yes, that is our state uniform. So that's the same uniform that is worn by the Yeoman of the Guard, the ceremonial bodyguard for the Queen. Yeah. Apart from the fact they wear a red sash across the uniform, and that's because they used to carry a very heavy musket. So it's the exact same uniform. That is, we wear that, as you say, on state occasions, special occasions, and the Queen's birthday, her 2 birthdays, her official and real, the Duke of Edinburgh's birthday, Prince Philip's, Prince Charles's birthday. Oh. Glad to see him looking well. Did you see that video he put out?
Yeah.
Isn't he looking well? I'm so glad he's only had it mildly. And yes, and we wear that for it's half and half. But the last time that I wore mine was when Prince Charles came to the Tower.
Right, yes.
Prince Charles.
The crown that was put in, which was about a month and a half ago, maybe?
Yeah, about a month and a half ago, 2 months.
Feels a lot longer, doesn't it? But
I know, gosh almighty. Yeah. It was, because everything is it was the day I came back. It was the 13th of February. 13th of Feb.
Yeah.
Because it was the day before I came back to work, because I'd been away for 7 weeks on holiday. So, yeah.
Because I went in actually the day before, and was it the day before? And the crown was already there, and I got really excited. And I was like, oh, it's a little secret I didn't know about. It's fantastic.
I know, but I still haven't seen it.
Have you not? Oh, it's really cool. Hey, break in. No one's going to stop you,
Can I just borrow the key?
Why not? Why not? So, yeah, so that's your state outfit. I'll say it again. Your state uniform. Ah! She's going to send the hitmen round.
See that big axe there, there's Alex. See that big axe?
I know, I'm so sorry. But I'm just going to take it back to the one of you and AJ. I don't know if we can actually see much of the uniform, but you have the crown on there, and then actually probably I haven't actually got one, annoyingly. Oh, we'll tell you what we do have. On the front of the Beefeater gin, you might see there's an E2R, which is the monarch cipher, isn't it? So
yes,
whoever the monarch is, then they have that on. And it is a Tudor uniform. It's you know, obviously, remade version. It's not 500 years old, but the out, you know, my goodness. Yeah, everyone's saying I'm going to get absolutely, yeah. My friend Sarah, who's a guide you probably know, she said I'm getting the block. Yeah.
At least you aren't the same costume.
I mean, I've probably done that.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, so this is the alpha. I don't know what I'm saying. It's pointless. Two of us giggling now. But you guys are on the Beefeater gin, and don't you get a bottle for your birthday?
As a penance for stealing our image, Beefeater Gin very, very kindly give us a bottle of gin on our birthday. And you know, they actually invite us for Christmas dinner as well.
Do they?
Yeah, so a crowd of us go down. Those that are available normally have it year about for the teams, and we take it year about, and then we go down and have a Christmas dinner with them. They just, you know, we've got such a fantastic relationship with them. They really are. They're lovely.
Yeah, well, they'd have to
Really
be given your image on it, frankly.
There was a pink label made in 2007 with a female Beefeater on it.
Oh, really? Now, it's funny because we've just been having a few questions about that. You know, do you think, someone's asked, do you think more people are, because at the start it was quite a, you know, big sort of, first female Beefeater. Do you think more people are getting used to it now?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Because when AJ arrived, now AJ, don't get me wrong, she is an absolute star. She is brilliant. She's a strong
Every time
woman.
I see her, got a glass of booze in her hand, it's hilarious.
Really?
Well, no, it's mainly been at the food festivals in the moat. I kept seeing her when I went. She's always had a glass of something.
So she's an absolute star, and she could hold her own in any company. There's no two ways about it. But when she arrived, because it was about 10 years, nearly 10 years from her starting, from me starting, and then her starting, and then so it was when she came in. And there's been a big changeover, and you know, people that are been here a lot less than I have. They've served in the same kind of military that AJ has, whereas I've been out the military for 13 years. It's such a long time in that kind of sense of the word. So she came in and it was just normal.
That's so lovely. And she's great.
It was brilliant.
And it's funny because she's quite diminutive, isn't she? She's quite short and quite slight.
Yes.
I remember hearing her do a tour, and I went and said to her, AJ, you aren't half loud. She said, well, why do you think I was a sergeant major? And I was like, yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, you do learn to project.
And one of the things I always tell people about the Tower of London is that it's very much a village, isn't it? You've got everything that you need there. You've got your church, you've got your village green, and you have your own pub as well.
Yes.
Which
unfortunately that is closed indefinitely at the moment.
Yeah, the only way you're going to stop Brits drinking is by actually closing the pubs. But it's lovely because I have been in there twice actually. I had the honour of going in there, and it's fun because it's a private members club in theory, isn't it? It's not actually a pub.
That's how you do. Yeah, that's how you describe it.
Yeah, that's what all the chaps say. Oh, it's private members club. But it's covered on the walls of all the famous people that have been there.
Yes, there is a corner that, because it's been refurbished over the last few years.
Right.
And there's a corner that has got pictures of celebrities with the Beefeaters. So yes, there's a few very famous faces, but actually some that you wouldn't expect.
Really?
Like President Obama.
Brilliant.
So one of my colleagues, Jimmy, he looked after the bar one night, and one of his friends used to work in the Secret Service at the American Embassy. And when President Obama came over, when he was first inaugurated, he actually came to his Secret Service team came to the Tower, and then the following morning, Jimmy left very early to go and have a picture up at the American Embassy.
Wow.
With President Obama. So, but there's lots of lovely people there. There's people that have, you know, just really lovely pictures, and of course, they normally get all this adoration. Oh, you know, can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph? They come to the Tower and they're like going, oh my God, it's a Beefeater.
I know, you're the celebrities there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Go on then, name drop. Who have you had some photos with, Moira?
Photos? Oh my gosh.
Who haven't you had photos with is probably the question.
No, I've had quite a few photos, right enough, but I don't really put my photos up in the bar, so... But yeah, I've got quite a few.
Who have you been most excited to? And who have you?
Our very lovely David Suchet.
Yeah.
Davina McCall. who's an absolute gem, and oh gosh, I'm trying to think who else.
My colleague Simon is asking, do you remember meeting Kenny Loggins?
Yes.
You do, yeah.
Yes.
Simon guided him about 2 Christmases ago, and we got to meet him at Simon's Christmas party, but he'd just come from the Tower. So clearly he introduced you to Kenny Loggins. I love it.
He did.
I love that you're styling it out, Moira. You don't have to remember.
I'm trying to think when that... Was it a couple of years ago?
A couple of years ago, yeah. It would have been about two and a half years ago, I reckon, Simon. Is that right? Something like that. Let's see. We've been having loads of questions come through, so I'm just going to have a little scroll through to see. Someone's asked you...
Hello from Scotland, Rosie.
Do you ever go back to furnace? I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Oh.
Now and again. The family home used to be in Furness.
Oh, Furness, not Furness. Right, I'm with you. I thought it was like
so that's my home. That was my home village. But my brother's, he's now retired. His wife's from Thailand, and they've got a house out there that they've just built in the north of Thailand. So he lives out there. So the family home's gone. But when I go back home, my father lives in Lochgilphead, just outside Lochgilphead, which is not far away, Inverary, things like that. So that's what I go to.
Nice. Someone's asked, what did you think of the moat being filled with ceramic poppies a few years ago?
Oh my gosh, that was just...
It was amazing.
It was unbelievable. That's all I can say about it. Unbelievable. It had... Pardon?
It was so moving.
It was incredibly moving, and it was... The hard thing about it was... And I saw this from the inside point of view, if that makes sense, because some of my colleagues have got, you know, different variations of PTSD and from, you know, conflicts they've been in. And it was watching them live with it and watching it grow, you know, because when it first started, it was the wave over the causeway. Yeah. Then they started planting the poppies around the edge of the moat, around the edge of the fortress itself. And then every single day you were seeing that getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it had a really strange effect on some people. Yeah. It was so moving and so overwhelming, I think is probably the right word. Yeah. But it was the actual difference in people as well. People they came and they had so many different, you know, motivations for coming. Yeah. And it actually had such a detrimental effect on some. Really? Really had a detriment. Not everybody. That's, you know, I had a lady come up to me one day, hold my hand, and she said, you know, thank you so much for this. You know, it was so moving. It was wonderful. I lost my great uncle, or, you know, and she just couldn't stop crying. But she wouldn't let go of my hand, and it was just so lovely to be there for her. But then there was other situations where people were demanding, you know, spitting. That, you know, I had a man threaten to punch me one day. Really? Because he wouldn't. Yeah, it was first thing in the morning. Does he not know who he's dealing with? No, exactly. He didn't. Yeah, I won't say what I said to him, but I'll tell you that in private. Yeah, all right. That's a conversation for every gin, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know, I helped to plant some of those poppies with some, one of my friends who's watching today, and it was an absolutely amazing day. It was a beautiful sunny day, and it was really, really moving. It was absolutely lovely. Amazing stories. Yeah, fantastic stories. We've got a question. What made you make the change from military to the Tower? What did I make? Well, I'll tell you what it was. There was 2 years before I left the army. I was sorting out, I was an Aldershot, and I was sorting out some mail one day, and there was the Soldier magazine, which is the army magazine, and there was a picture of a Beefeater on the front of it, and I went, oh, so I opened it up and I looked at it, and there was 3 pages of, you know, article, and it was a recruitment article basically, but it said halfway through it that it wasn't just a job for the boys, and I had never been posted in London. Desperately wanted to get to London to experience it, and I thought, well, if I can't do it whilst I'm in the army, maybe this will be good. This will be a fantastic job. It'll be really interesting, and I'm very much, you know, I like to think of myself as a people person anyway. Yeah. Some may choose to say otherwise, but you know. Love it. But it was the perfect opportunity for me. Absolutely perfect. So I took it, and you were the not just boy who was the right person to get to, wasn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Great question for my friend Dominique. Do you have a curfew? And if you go out, do you have to be back at a certain time? Are you locked out? Which is a very good question. And I'm going to let you answer that one.
Well, the ceremony of the keys locks the gates at 10 o'clock, by 10 o'clock each night. However, on both sets of gates, there is a small wicket gate, and that remains open till midnight. And I like to tell people that the little wicket gate stays open to midnight, and then after that, it's like every good prison. It's easy to get in, not so easy to get out. So if you're out and you're going to the theatre, or you're out for the night, you know, we've got lots of young adults here. They go out partying until goodness what time in the morning, and they just come back and it's ringing the doorbell. Basically, that is exactly what it is.
Hilarious.
But if you want to get out for maybe say an early morning flight or whatever, then the Raven Master does it quite regularly because he has to go to the market to get the meat for the ravens.
Oh.
So basically, we just get permission for the gates to be open, and that's it. If you're taking your car out, if you have to drive anywhere, then your car goes onto the wharf before the quay starts. So it's locked out there all night, and then you just walk out. The gates are closed behind you. You get in your car and you drive off.
Yeah.
Or you walk off. So that's exactly how it is.
And so that's a bit more relaxed than it always used to be in the past, because in the past, once you were out, right? That's it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And I suppose
and actually,
go on.
Sorry. I was going to say that didn't change. When I was first started here, if your name wasn't in the book for the fire regulations, so if you're going to be out after 12, you put your name in the book to say I'm going to be back late. So if a fire, God forbid, starts, they're not going to come looking for you in your house.
Yeah.
And but if your name wasn't in the late book and you came back, they wouldn't let you in.
Really? So it's quite good if you've got
completely changed
teenage kids, and then they you're always going to know what time they actually got back and whether or not they.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't just have one set of parents here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole team of them. It's fantastic. A quick question on you mentioned about the ghost earlier, and number 17, which Danny says, is next to the Queen's house. That's right. Who is thought to be haunting number 17? Do we know?
Do you know, I've not seen it, but it's got its own website seemingly.
Has it really?
And I've seen the website, but it doesn't. I'm not sure if it actually says on it who it's meant to be. But there was one of the previous governors who lived in the Queen's house. His wife, she was Lord and Lady Field. Unfortunately, sadly, he passed away recently, and she was putting a plaque up in the chapel for his memory. But she was allegedly moved out of a room. She could feel somebody pushing her out of this room one night, and it's allegedly the room that Lady Arbella Stewart died in.
Ah.
And she very rarely came back to the tower.
Gosh.
So that's the story I was told, but whether that's the right one or not, I don't know. But
we might do something on ghosts at some point. I don't know. We've got a whole variety of different things that we can do.
Yeah.
Russell, my colleague, is saying, do you actually need the word to get back in if you're coming in after curfew?
Of course.
We'll take that as a firm yes. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. Listen, Moira, thank you so much. I've taken up so much more of your time than I'd ever planned to.
Don't worry about it at all. I'm sorry we chatted on.
No. I mean, I think we've got a lot of love for you in the comments there. Everyone's saying you're an inspiration.
Cheers. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. That's brilliant.
And you're one of my inspirations, and you know that, because every time I bring people, and I always, I always sort of scout around, and if I see you, I'll leg it across the tower, and then I always this is Moira, and it's shush. But I always like to kind of chat with you, and
well, it's lovely it is lovely for the visitors.
Yeah. Are you missing the tourists?
Yeah, I am a little. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, I love the interaction.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, do come back, everybody. Do come back.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the first places. I know a lot of guides are missing coming to places.
Yeah.
The tower and that kind of thing. So there we go. Right. Well, thank you so much. Just before we go, I've got a couple of bits and pieces for people to know about. Tonight, National Theatre are doing live broadcast of One Man, Two Governors, and I believe it's available for a week, and every Thursday they're doing something. 8 o'clock, we've got our Clap for Carers again, so don't forget that. Tomorrow at 5, my colleague Emily is doing a talk on Frida Kahlo live on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I've just after tea break, I'm doing another thing because I just can't get enough of it. On Guide London, which is the big sort of, well, it's the Association of Professional Tourist Guide. They are doing live broadcasts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they've reined me in for Friday to do some fun stuff. I'm going to do a quiz.
Yay!
Emily, who'll be there as well. And then my colleague Pepe on Saturday is doing his fantastic talk, and he's got street art, and he's got the amazing Jimmy C, one of my favourite street artists. So that'll be live at 7 on his website. But again, I think I've put most of these things in the stories, so you can have a little look. Moira, you absolute legend. Thank you so much. I can't wait to
Alex, you're a diamond. Thank you.
and I'll see you soon. Stay safe.
Yes, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Take
to
care,
everyone who's
everybody.
watching. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.